What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Safety Violation and Minor Evac. So, Brian, let's hear about the mutation.
Minor Evac is the map where we have to fight our way to the evac ships, and defend them from the infested as they launch. We have to successfully defend 5 ships to win. On brutal difficulty, we lose the game if we lose more than 1 ship.
Yeah.
A big laser drill shoots at you from the northeast corner of the map. Mag mines are pre-deployed around the map and deal tons of damage if you can't dodge them. And enemies explode upon death.
So yeah, I believe the explosions damage the ship when they are launching, as do the mag mines. When the ship starts launching, the mag mines do damage the ship. So with me are Tutu and Stixbender. How are you guys today?
Right, good.
Awesome.
Pretty good. A little
You have
tired.
mosquitoes around again?
Yes, so I actually have a fan, fan pointed straight at me, not because I feel hot or anything, but because of the mosquitoes. I'm trying to survive this recording with less than 2 bites. Let's go for fewer than 2 bites this recording. Alright, so Tutu, how are we gonna rate the commanders this week?
So, for this week, my ratings will be based on how well they deal with clearing mines and how well they deal with self-destruction. The laser is not a big issue because the infested don't give vision for the laser. The mag mines give vision as well as the attack waves, but the infested units don't. So once you clear the mines, the laser is actually not such a big problem.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, with that, let's begin. Abathur, where do we put him?
Abathur. See, Abathur, he's good at. He has very few weaknesses, but just because he can do all the mutations doesn't mean that he doesn't struggle. So this mutation's really hard because of early game. There's a laser, so it's hard to clear mines. Your roaches might get killed early, and then after you get your brutalisks, they don't get life back, so they get hurt a lot by self-destruction.
Yeah.
Especially since there's so many infested. So you have to use Vipers. And just I had a really hard time with this one with Abathur. I did a special strategy with tunneling roaches to clear mines because Amon can't see them and they're basically cloaked units. So I cleared mines with tunneling roaches and I defended ships with mass Vipers.
That's really cool.
So it was really hard. So I'm giving him an E.
E, wow. Have you considered doing the abduct cheese though? Wouldn't that be easier?
I don't want to cheese. If you have to cheese to beat it, then that doesn't really count.
Alright, that's fair. How about you, Stixbender?
Yeah, pretty much. Abathur's gonna have a rough day, and this mutation is one where it's not like everyone's having to cheese here. If you are the only person who has to cheese to keep pace, that definitely puts you in a very bad spot. I think that Abathur E tier kind of makes sense, honestly.
Okay, so all of us seem to agree with E tier. I probably have him higher. I actually have him higher because I plan to use cheese, but both of them agreed with E, so we'll go with E. Alarak, where do we put him? Stixbender.
Alarak. So Alarak almost implicitly is just oh, this map, Alarak, S tier. Alarak is really good at this map with especially with P3. Mothership plus Alarak can pretty comfortably tank the laser drill. As long as you keep killing infested, Alarak's hero unit will heal insanely fast. You can clear mag mines with Alarak, who has a dash. Mothership that is not the best option, but it is an air unit and chunky enough to survive mag mine hits in worst case scenario. And Void Rays, which are air units that are cheap enough to not care that much if they die in single numbers.
Yeah.
Void Ray.
As long as you sacrifice them in case you trigger mag mine.
Yeah, so that helps a lot. And then self-destruction gets to be largely negated by Alarak's destructive wave. You have Havocs as cloaked units, which are honestly your best friend for clearing mag mines on this map. There's detection is quite sparse, so cloaked units are amazing for clearing mag mines.
They are.
And then after all that to help you deal with the mutators, it's not the best tools to deal with the mutators of all the commanders. But after that, the first 3 ships can be soloed by your hero without breaking a sweat. And after that, they can still be soloed by your heroes, just with a little more effort. And you could have units. So the actual map is super, super easy. You can focus like all your effort into beating the mutators.
So where do you...
I put him in S tier.
S tier, wow. How about you, Tutu?
I feel like Alarak is good, but like if for the later game, you kind of need Ascendance, and that's like then if you're gonna use Ascendance and Alarak's abilities, it's a lot of micro. It's really micro intensive. If you can pull it off, he's really strong. He does have easy clearing with Havocs, and Mothership can take a few hits. I feel like there are a lot of other commanders that are less there's,
Demanding?
like one
Less punishing?
Less demanding, and their defense against self-destruction is less hands-on. You kind of just sit there and wait. So like, and the enemies will just die. So I put him in A. He is good, but I don't think he's there. I think there are others that are even better.
I actually have Alarak in B. So here's how we'll do this. It's not unanimous, therefore it's not S. So we'll put him in A. I kind of just disregarded my own vote. Okay.
I would note, I strongly disagree with the notion that you at all need Ascendance for Alarak to handle late game. You need your Mothership plus Alarak plus a Warp Prism, maybe a few Destroyers to handle the 5th ship.
Even with self-destruction?
You yeet most of the things, and Alarak is pretty mobile, so he shouldn't really get hit that much.
Even with Banshees?
He shouldn't really get hit by the self-destruction that much, I mean.
I don't know. I should try it sometime to see how strong Alarak really is. Or maybe I'm just microing him wrong, or maybe you're just really used to Alarak that you kind of underestimate the amount of micro it takes to keep Alarak active all the time.
I am extremely used to Alarak, and it is a constant problem.
Yeah. I'm thinking for average people who use all the like someone who's closer to me, like someone who uses all the commanders but is not a specialist in any of them. So yeah, Alarak is good, yeah, but I'm not. I don't really think he's like as good. In fact, I had him in B, but I just kind of you had him in S, Tutu had him in A, I had him in B, so I just kind of took the middle one. Is that a good compromise?
That seems understandable.
All right. So Arcturus, where do we put him?
Thanks. He can sacrifice troopers to clear mines. He can call dogs of war to clear mines. And then once the mines are gone, you just defend with tons of bunkers. Because if you have tons of bunkers loaded with troopers, the enemies will just die before they even get close. So self-destruction won't even affect the bunkers at all. I put him in A.
Yeah, solid. How about you, Stickbender?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd also recommend cloaked medevacs to help you with clearing mines. They're also a great option, and they have shields.
Yeah, cool. That actually sounds really good. I actually had Arcturus in S, but since both of you agree with A, we'll put Arcturus in A.
Yeah, honestly, S is also possible, and one of the biggest reasons I'd even say S is partially because of the fact that one other point for Manx, he has a really easy time.
Yeah.
The laser drill on this map is completely unguarded. It's purely a matter of do you have drop pods or something to get you there, because there are the only path by land to get to the laser drill is guarded. But if you drop pod there or have an air unit that can fly over dead airspace, you can get to the laser drill without ever encountering any opposition.
Foreshadowing for later, by the way, an air unit. And you only need one drop pod, really. For the rest, you can just drop bunkers. Anyway. Yep.
You don't really even need to kill the laser.
You don't, but it's convenient, and your ally will thank you.
Yeah, I guess. Let's move on. Arty Farty, where do we put him?
Artanis. So, I actually found this remarkably not difficult Artanis solo, I recall. So he can't be that bad, I feel. Because this was easier than most mutations for him. Let's see. So, you have observers. That right there is like an entire tier promotion because observers are just the most wonderful thing ever for being able to clear mag mines. They are a cloaked air unit that is cheap, has good vision radius, so that you don't even have to worry about accidentally stumbling into detection too much. And as Artanis, you could just conjure an observer where you need to clear mag mines
Yeah.
instantly.
I was actually thinking Phoenixes, but yeah, observers are pretty good too. Because,
amazing. And if you want a fast unit that is visible but valid to clear mag mines because it's expendable, zealots, especially if you get charged for them and have warp haste, they fast, boy. They faster than a Zergling.
I heard this. I heard this warp haste. I'm like, warp haste? Why would you need warp haste? Anyway.
Yes, warp haste. I pretty much always play warp haste. Warp haste is just so good. I can hardly imagine living without it.
So what's your bread and butter unit for this mutation?
The Dragoon.
Yeah, sounds about right. So where do you put him?
Probably somewhere in B or C tier. He's actually pretty reasonably solid. He has the tool to do it. It's just that he's not exactly an anti-infested specialist in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
He's kind of the reverse of Alarak. Instead of having amazing map tools and pretty solid mutator tools, he's got amazing mutator tools and mediocre map tools.
For this mutation, at least. Tutu,
Yeah.
how about you?
I used P3, and I think I didn't use observers to clear mines. I used zealots and or phoenixes, and I would overcharge, and like when I use overcharge, they're just part of it, and then I send the phoenixes around the map to like 2 or 3 of them, just like go around, clear a lot of mines, and then bring them back home, and they don't die.
Awesome.
Usually don't die. I don't have to pay attention to them either.
Cool.
So for the early game, you at 3 minutes when you get your first overcharge, you warp in 3 zealots, and then you clear the mines near the first ship, and then you do for defense, you do delayed Archon drops, and then you use Dragoons. So he's really he's solid choice. I put Artanis in B.
Okay, so I actually have in C, but I'm okay with B. So do you agree with B, Stickspender?
Yep, that works.
Cool, awesome. We'll put him in B. So Dehaka, where do we put him?
Dehaka, creeper hosts have a lot of life. The locusts have a lot of life, and they can go around clearing mines, and if they get hit, so what? So the pack leaders can hold a ship pretty much like by themselves. Yeah, so you can use creeper hosts. You can just send waves from one angle while you have like and you can use primal worms to also defend or body block. And then you can use a pack leader to hold the front while the clock ticks down. So the Haka for me gets S.
S. How do you defend ship 1?
How to defend ship 1?
Yeah.
Like I don't remember, but for this mutation, you can let the first ship die and just like to power up and clear mines, and you still like once you clear all the mines, the laser is really not an issue, and then it's just a mutation with self destruction.
Yeah. So
but I think I had Glevic in time for the first ship, and then he was able to hold.
How about you, Stickspender?
Yeah, this isn't somewhere where I'd be familiar with Dehaka, but that all sounds pretty good. It feels a little iffy to me putting him in S tier. It doesn't. I mean, it sounds a lot simpler than Alarak or Manx, I guess, because of just the sheer power of. And then I just summoned a pack leader with one button press, and my problems all went away.
Yeah.
That's the only real argument I could see for S tiering him, but I can't see any argument for putting him below A tier.
I actually also have an A tier because he's pretty good, but I have other guys on S. So, if you don't disagree with S, I guess I can change it to S also. So yeah.
I basically am saying like I don't disagree with S. I just don't necessarily agree with it either.
Yeah. You know what? We'll put him in S, and if there are like 3 commanders in S, we can put him at like really, really high A. So we'll put him S for now. So Phoenix, where do we put him?
Again, you have observers. Observers are great. You have a hero unit that is great at clearing mines too.
Yeah.
That's nice. this map is a little inconvenient for champion spam because getting things from a shell farm to the ship is kind of hard once the ship is already started if the champion dies. So P2 is a bit awkward, usable but awkward. You're probably going to use a lot of Arbiter recall.
Might use P1 instead, actually. But go ahead.
I would want to have my hero available for Magmine clearing, and I don't want to be wasting on Magmine clearing if I'm P1, so I would probably use P3 or P0. The reality is Fenix's army is pretty solid as a just blunt instrument. He has a warhammer of an army. It just kind of bonks things and everything dies.
Yeah.
Colossus Adept, Scout, all good units here. Carrier's not so good because of self-destruct.
Where do I put him?
He feels like Artanis, but with slightly worse Magmine clearing, slightly worse laser drill killing, like slightly worse mutator killing, slightly better map tools. Otherwise, he's just an Artanis. He feels B tier to me.
Actually, same. How about you, Tutu?
Phoenix, I used P2. P2, like, you can have a conservator or pylon, and then at the ship to warp in the gateway units. Then your robo and Stargate shells are nearby. So if they die, they just come from a different angle. And the whole point is stalling time, anyways. So you can put Caldalis on a hotkey and then jump into new areas and clear mines. So
that also works.
Pretty cheap way to get rid of mines. I put Phoenix in C, just because if you don't have enough gates, or if you clump your shells too much or something, the explosions will hurt, and things might go wrong at the ship if your macro slips, or if your shells don't get to the new area, like to the ship in time.
Have you considered using no prestige, just like massing depths with the shades and like Colossus to keep the infested away?
I pretty much never use no prestige.
I think it can be.
I have to.
I actually agree with Stickspender here. Like I think a Phoenix here can be played like an Artanis, except he also has the conservative field to really help protect his dudes and keep them alive. But it's between B or C. So there's two of us. So I think we'll put him in B for now. Maybe we can demote him later if there's more discussion about that. Are you okay with B, or is B really too high for you, Tutu?
No, it's fine.
All right.
He's not terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like, yeah.
He's not like. I think I have an idea for who that is. Anyway, Han and Horner, where do I put him?
Han Horner, Magmine clearing is like A+ level, but then everything else, yeah. Well, the
you can count the laser drill if you want.
Laser drill is not a big deal. It's the self-destruction. So
yeah,
with self-destruction, you can't really use Hellbats, or you can't rely on them. So you would pretty much mass Reapers, and hopefully you shoot them down before they get close.
Have you considered going P3 and just keeping the area on fire via the airstrikes? Kind of crazy, but
I mean, if you have an ally, sure, but like if you want to carry, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Later on, battle cruisers help, Ravens help, but yeah. I also put Han Horner in C.
Wait, how about landed Vikings?
If you have enough Reapers that you don't get overwhelmed, they're just like win more. And if you don't have enough Reapers, they'll get overrun and exploded to death if you're trying to kite.
All right. How about you, Stickspender?
My experience was that landed Vikings would dramatically reduce the amount of Reapers you needed to be able to hold things. Also, Tar Bomb on Hellions is useful. But regardless, okay, you can clear Magmines. Great. You can deal with the infested somewhat. Okay, that somewhat is disconcerting, but okay. And then there's a laser drill. Oh, well, I'm no longer useful. Good night, everyone.
For me, Han and Horner is like, well, I cleared the Magmines. Time to go.
No, it's like, I cleared the Magmines.
Good luck, ally.
Kind of infested. Oh, there's a laser drill. I have nothing.
So yeah,
laser drill's only relevant in the short, like, wave attacks.
Yes, like I do forget quite how little access the laser drill has to vision. Okay, it's not that bad, I suppose, but still, it's like you have a lot of, okay, I'm okay at this. Okay, I'm okay at that. And even with the mag mines, I honestly would say they're not even the best at clearing mag mines. They don't have a hero unit
Yeah.
that is mobile and able to just jump around and pop mag mines by just doing their normal thing, like, Kerrigan or Nova or Alarak can do. Yeah, C tier makes sense. They're just not that great at anything involved here.
Cool. Yeah, I also agree with C. It's unanimous. Like, we had so much discussion, we all arrived at the same place. That's funny. Karax.
Yay.
Karax, where do we put him?
He is good. He
Karax
has
good.
observers.
Observer's
He has
good.
observers. He has Unity Barrier. Unity Barrier against mag mines and also against most things in life is so much better than Guardian Shell.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
And you can still get Colossus.
You can get Colossi. You can get really good Colossi. That fire damage is like their DPS is insane.
You could actually
He
say
can
they're
get-
fire.
Yes, exactly. He's got cannons. He's got Solar Lance with fire damage that can turn the literal entire ship defense area into a massive damage over time. For
And
like a
has-
gazillion DPS.
And Energizers too.
He's got Energizers. He can literally mind control infested banshees if he just wants to just show up Stukov for style points. Karax. I would definitely see an argument for S tier Karax, honestly. It's just like his only weakness is that he can be a little slow about clearing, and you have to know probably how to cannon push if you want to, keep pace of things.
And cannon pushing, well, you also have to avoid, like, the Unity Barrier can absorb one mag mine, but what if you aggro, like, 2 or 3 mag mines?
You have a
Hey,
second
spot.
probe. You have a backup probe.
I mean, if you
It's a 50
aggro,
mineral probe.
your probe can dodge, but your buildings cannot.
Yeah, most of the mag mines you want to clear off observers, which is why things slow down, is because if you are doing everything how you want to do it, it's going to be a bit slow with, I use observers.
Yeah.
I snipe detection with orbital strikes, so nothing hits my observer, ever. I clear all the mag mines with an observer. I get observer speed because I needed a Robo Bay anyways for Colossi and +3 Spirit of Dune energy, so I might as well get observer speed nice and quick. So
Yeah.
my observers. Once you have observer speed, observers are now fast enough that if you go fly straight at a mag mine, you will get past the mag mine before it launches.
That's do most of this, I imagine. Anyway, where do we put him?
I would nominate Karax for S tier, honestly. Like, despite being that slight slowness, he's just so strong here.
Okay, Tutu, how about you?
I put him in A initially because of his super slow start. Like, you might have to even give up the first ship, but after that, I don't think he has like any problems. So I use Mirages to clear because they have a dodge, plus they have healing from the repair beam, plus they're super fast. I went mass carriers with the Sentinels, but like Colossi also works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think with top bar plus some any unit to clear mines, I think Karax is just S.
Alright, I actually have an A also, but since Tutu changes to S, I'll also change mine to S. Alright, welcome to the S Club, Karax. Kerrigan, where do we put him?
Kerrigan relies on the hero unit in the early game, and that means you're gonna take a little more than usual damage from the laser trying to clear mines. So you might want extra queens for healing.
Yeah.
Before like the first ship, you probably won't have like that many omegas to like
I have one.
block.
You have one.
Yeah, you probably have like one. So you can't really tank a lot of mines or clear mines. You have to use Kerrigan to do it. But once Kerrigan gets going, you just use Brewlords and Lurkers to kill everything, and then you're okay. So I put Kerrigan in A.
Solid. Which prestige do you? Does any prestige work?
I would say any prestige works, but I use P2.
Cool. How about you, Stixbender?
To be honest, I kind of had been thinking Kerrigan and S. I don't really see anyone else in the 2-add commanders that I would put above Kerrigan. But we already have 2 people in S, but I don't know how she compared to Dehaka.
Dehaka comes up earlier. And the Hawk
Talked
can
about that
revive.
earlier. Dehaka's hero is not as strong.
More
Early
expendable
on,
though.
at least.
You can revive the Hawk instantly if you sacrifice
Yes,
few
but
workers.
you revive him instantly in your base, and then he has to get over to the ship before it blows up. And if you don't have any vision source out of that ship, you can't deep tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be very awkward. Worm's really good. Kerrigan hero unit actually solid early game, unlike Dehaka who needs levels. I would put Kerrigan in S tier, honestly.
I actually have Kerrigan in A, just
Oh
because
yeah,
like
also Kerrigan, assuming you're not P3, is much more mobile for just like flying all over the place. Your natural playstyle with Kerrigan's hero unit dodges mag mines because she doesn't hold still a lot.
true. I actually have Kerrigan in A. The reason why is because Kerrigan is susceptible to that one moment that happens to everyone. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen to everyone at some point, where you thought you cleared all the mag mines, but then there's one, and then you happen to not be looking at your whole army at the very wrong time, and then when you look back, your army's gone. That's why I have her at A instead of S. But do both of you agree with S?
No, I said A.
Yeah, I also said A.
Because yeah, I think like if Kerrigan for some reason gets killed due to self-destruction because you miscalculated how many explosions, your rest of the army is not going to be that strong until later on.
Yeah.
Until like you get enough lurkers.
Basically. Yeah, lurkers are the ultimate solution.
It takes time to get to enough lurkers, though. But yeah, I think the way we'll deal with this is the usual. If it's not unanimous, it's not S. Just so I think it's fine actually. Yeah.
That's fair.
Nova, where do we put him?
Don't have to worry too much. Said hero unit is also pretty good at blowing infested to smithereens. Bonus versus light and all that on a giant cone. Just a gigantic cone of AoE. See.
C.
What else?
You see all that for a C?
No. I said let's see.
Ah.
Your tanks are tanks. Still not amazing, but they are specifically designed anti-infested weapons, so they do pretty solid here. They have spider mines, so if the infested get kind of close for some reason, they're not getting to self-destruct range because the spider mine will yeet itself in and blow them up.
Huh.
You will probably want to mostly use spider mines in response, like just infested are getting close, cast spider mine. Otherwise, the spider mines will all die to self-destruct, and you're gonna like look back and oh, the infested are on top of my tanks. Well, my tanks all died.
Defensive drone?
And that will suck. Defensive drone, yes, but in general, if the infested start getting on top of your thing, the fastest infested is the aberration, and the aberration slaps really hard against armored. So in general, if they're getting on top of your tanks, spider mine quickly because you know defense drone will buy you a few seconds to react, but react or you will lose everything. You have a solid hero, you have solid units, you can get them out reasonably quick. You're
Or-
just Kerrigan with less macro time and no worms. So A, maybe B, but no. I looked at the other B tier. No, she's A.
No
Okay.
way she's B. How about you, Tutu?
So Nova, if you use the assault mode, you can blink around and get poked by laser but then you won't actually get hurt. You clear some mines. If you stay in cloak mode, you can also clear a lot of mines just walking around. And you can just like sabotage drone the one detector in each encampment and snipe the overseer or whatever, and then just clear the rest. Liberator Raven defense is enough to like stop everything. So I put her in S.
I was almost thinking that, oh man, is this a bad week for area? Because when Stixbear was speaking about tanks, I was like, oh man, I was planning to use Liberators. Are Liberators bad here? Okay.
No, they're not. It's just that tanks have splash. Tanks are like literally.
Yeah.
They have one thing they're really good at, and that's killing infested. Are they good at anything else? Relatively to their ability to kill infested? No, they're terrible at everything else.
I'm thinking
But they kill infested really well.
I'm thinking the Robin turrets. Robin turrets and the Liberators would be enough, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good combination.
I actually had Nova in A also. But Stixbler, are you willing to change Nova to S, or is she not quite there?
I'm not willing to put Nova against Kerrigan, I feel. Above
Yeah.
Kerrigan, I mean. Yeah.
A is still good. Yeah, we'll put Nova in A, and then we'll see if Nova's clearly better than everyone else in A. Raynor, where do we put him?
Raynor. If you are good with your call downs, you can clear pretty much all the mines with just call downs, and then you defend with your infantry. And I used P1 because I like P1 on minor evac. But if you don't want to use P1, you want to use mines or tanks, that's fine too. He does need critical mass in order to like be effective. So it takes a while. But yeah, so I put him in C.
Okay, Sixbender, how about you?
Yeah, you need a critical mass. You have pretty solid units, but you need a critical mass, and boy, do mag mines hurt if they hit.
Yeah, they do.
At least the Hyperion has point defense drone, and that's just like your biggest advantage, honestly, is just, but the Hyperion has point defense drone. Yeah, honestly, C just kind of makes sense for Jimmy.
I also think C,
He's solid.
just because like I don't plan to use P1, just because I want the peace of mind knowing that even if I do make that one mistake, you know which one, I can just mule and then have another army to replace the one I lost. So yeah, I think we all agree with C. Statboy, where do we put him?
Stetmann. So, I heard rumors that there were these magmine things that were actually scary. I don't know what anyone was talking about. It's not like they can like even 3-shot a Zergling or something. Like 3 of them hitting a Zergling and nothing bad happens. And if I have like these Stellites overhead of green zone, I mean I could like eat 50 magmines to the face with a literal Zergling and it doesn't die. So like what's everyone else about with these silly magmine things? Anyways, Stetmann is good. You should play him.
I have some bad news for you. Sixbender.
Oh no.
Bad news is that I lost 6 Ultralisks when I played Stetmann. So sad.
Oh no.
So sad.
Oh man.
So where do you put him?
Man, imagine an Ultralisk dying. Oh, the horror. A tier.
A tier. I actually have an S.
If you lose 6 Ultralists, don't you get one back?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a joke. I have Statboy in S.
So it's okay.
How about you, TC? Where do you put Statboy?
Lings don't care about any of those
Anything
mutators. I would not use Ultras. I would use Infestors or Lurkers.
I would use Ultras just because it's this map in general is an Ultralisk map because of the Oil Baron. I'll use Oil Baron, not Best Buddy. But
okay,
yeah.
The free units from Infestors don't care about
anything
either.
They don't care about anything.
Yeah, so easy S tier. Also, Super Gary can press the E button and clear a lot of mines.
That's what I did. I used Super Gary to clear. I didn't even think of Zerglings. I was like, why would I use Zerglings when I have, an air unit? That's fast. And I can go straight to the laser drill if I wanted to. Like, yeah, he's also S for me. Does that convince you, Sixbender?
Yeah, Stetmann was someone where I would be easily convinced of S.
Alright, there we go.
Yeah.
Nice. Stukov, where do we put him?
Stukov, free units. It takes some time to clear mines, but you'll eventually get there. You'll have to add tanks, and a lot of them. Otherwise, like the trickle of infested will just come from your natural, and if you lose presence in front of the ship, then you're not the ship's gonna die. So you need tanks. Probably land some barracks in front and make infested marines if necessary.
Make ammunition for your siege tanks. Let's just call it what it is.
If necessary, yeah. But yeah, once you have enough siege tanks, like nothing matters. Until then, though, it's kind of
shaky,
kind of weak.
Kind of shaky.
So I put him in B.
B? Okay. How about you, Stixbender?
B seems generous. It's really shaky in the early game.
Actually, I have
it is really shaky in the early game. I would probably say C, honestly.
Yeah, I actually agree with C. Is C
That early game hurts.
is C too low for you, Tutu, or are you okay with C?
It's all right. I can kind of see why, but I just think like losing the first ship for this one is not
Yeah.
like it might be necessary just like to get to get enough time.
Yeah, I've done.
So it's like you can even just decide like just don't defend the first ship, save your call downs and resources for other stuff, and then or like clearing another area, getting ready for the next the next ship.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is Phoenix and Artanis don't need to sacrifice the first ship. They can handle it just fine, I think. So I'm thinking he looks more like Jimmy and Han and Horner than he does Artanis and Phoenix.
You don't have to sacrifice the first ship though. You use Apocalypse and the Alexander, and you should hold it. The first ship.
So C is not okay for you.
It's fine. I'm just saying like you don't have to lose it, but even if you do, it's okay.
Okay, well,
That's all.
Yeah, we'll reconsider it later if Stukov really belongs after all these are put in. Swann, where do we put him?
Unfortunately, Swann is not topping Karax this time around. Sadly.
Back to reality.
Yes, back to the usual. No, yeah, you're not beating Swann today, or you're not beating Karax today, Swann. I am sorry. Still pretty solid though.
Pretty solid, yeah.
He's got his turrets. They're really good. He's got a Hercules who could tactical dump on the laser drill to pretty conveniently shut it down. Mag mines are rather annoying, but
Yeah.
you know, floating factory is, as always, your best solution to like most things in life. If a mag mine hits a floating factory, it shrugs it off, and you can dodge the mag. You will dodge the mag mines, obviously, because if you just eat all the mag mines to the face, you'll lose the factory. But like, if you take multiple hits due to missteps, it's still fine. Like, it takes so many hits before it's enough Magmine shots for your factory to care. Probably, I'm thinking. I have to look at the other commanders here a little bit. I feel like he can make B tier, honestly.
Okay. How about you, Tutu?
Did he say B tier?
He said B.
Yes.
Oh, okay. He's definitely not as good as Karax, but for the laser, you can stall the laser indefinitely. If you don't know how to do it, you can watch my video how to do it. You basically put a factory near a mag mine, but don't trigger it. So Amon has vision of your factory, and then he'll shoot it, and you repair it forever for free with 2 SCVs. And yeah, and then the laser will not be a problem anymore. You can use your concentrated beam and pulse cannons to clear areas. For this one, I put him in A.
Hey, wow. It's higher than me. Maybe I'm bad at SWAT or something. I actually have him in C. Do you agree with A, Sticksbender?
I can see A. Also, I would say P1 definitely gets easier clearing because, yeah, you can clear with Pulse Cannon or Concentrated Beam, or you can clear by just floating a factory ominously towards the base, and the laser drills cleans everything out in a relatively short order anyways.
So, do we put him in A or B?
A is...
I feel like I'd have a much easier time with... Yeah, A feels like a stretch. Like, I don't see him being as good as Alarak, Arcturus.
I guess because I made the laser a non-issue with the factory thing.
Yeah.
So I basically took out a mutator from like within the first like 2 minutes.
And honestly, yeah, you can do that quite easily. Even without that, he is not to the same tier as Alarak and Kerrigan and Nova. He's just not that. He's not that good.
Yeah, I think he's closer to more like B tier.
I think
really solid. He won't die. He'll eventually have enough, and he'll just kind of brute force his way through everything. He sounds exactly like the guys in B tier to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. All right, so maybe he could be a top of B or something. We'll put it later. Tychus, where do we put him?
Tychus, you can use any prestige. Tychus himself, especially if you use Lone Wolf, he'll take a lot less damage from the laser while he's clearing mines, and then you can also pick him up with the medevac if he's ever in like any trouble, or if there are too many mag mines triggered at once, you pick him up and then drop him in the same spot and continue fighting. He's pretty much solid choice all around, and he does his usual things. So I put him in A.
A. Okay. I actually took a big L this week when I was recording the Tychus video. I forgot how to play Tychus without Lone Wolf. Oh, I was surprised at how much damage my guys took. Anyway, Stixbender, how about you?
Yeah, it is a very sudden, like, oh shoot, without Lone Wolf, I am no longer an
Immortal.
immortal being. Oh gosh. Tychus is solid all around. He punches stuff. B and A are both like kind of valid spots for Tychus, I feel.
Yeah, looking at Tychus' playstyle, he plays like the guys in B, like just generally brute forcing, but the strength at which he does it sounds more like sounds more like a Kerrigan or an Arcturus who just kind of shrugs off stuff. Like, yeah, I can see him being an A. I originally have him in B, but A, I'm not too miffed about A. So yeah, I agree. We'll put him in A. Vorazun, where do you put her?
Vorazun.
You got a Shadow Fury.
As always, actually, as always on Infested, like on Minor Evacuation, I personally go Oracle Corsair pretty much always on this map.
I was actually thinking Void Race. Maybe I'm real. I was thinking Void Race.
I do Void Race. I do Void Race sometimes too. I actually have done oftentimes Void Rays too. Oracles and Void Rays are both good options. Void Rays are honestly probably better because of the range. I've used both on this map.
I'll make an Oracle or two to clear Magmice, and then the rest will be Void Rays.
Usually, well, if I do go Void Rays, I usually will use Oracles for the first ship.
Yeah.
The first ship is just spam Oracles, and then as soon as the first ship launches, I say, all right, no more Oracles, never again, just Void Rays. And that just works. It's a solid option. You put Dark Pylon by ship so that your Void Rays have bonus attack damage from being invisible.
Where do I put him?
You have lots of cloaked units to help you deal with Magmice too. You're very brute force, but you see more B tier than C tier in terms of your actual power when brute forcing.
How about you, Tutu?
I believe the best way to use Vorazun on this mutation for this one is to play kind of like a pacifist. So you make a dark pylon wall around the ship, the cloak wall, and then you don't fight until a detector comes, and then you time stop or something, you kill it, and then you run away. Then the units have nothing to look at. You keep Corsairs at the ship to kill the Banshees, but the ground units, you don't want to fight them because their explosions will break your wall. So you actually just kind of hang out on the sides until the detecting hybrid come, and if they, for the earlier ships, they don't come, so you just sit there and wait. So it's pretty free. And with that strat, it's pretty simple. But if you don't do that, then it's okay. You might suffer a lot of losses though. So it's B-C-ish, B, C.
So what you're saying is you just snipe all the detectors.
Yeah.
Even in the later
and then
ships.
You sit there.
In the later ships, you just kind of snipe the big hybrid, which is a detector.
Yes. And you have times, they only come like once, right? Once or twice. You time stop dark, you can focus it, or you just black hole it and then kill it and then run away. And then your Corsairs will kill the Banshees. And the Corsairs don't hit ground, so they won't kill any infested to trigger more self-destruction.
You say B?
B or C, kinda, B-ish.
Stixberry said B, right? Alright, so we have B. We'll put Vorazun in B. Well, let's not talk about where I had Vorazun initially. Zagara, where do we put her?
The Zagara, I actually beat this in one try, but that's only because I like know how to use Zagara on this map, and I know like where to put all my bio launchers and how to use them. So yeah, for most people, I highly advise against using Zagara because self-destruction will just wreck all your stuff.
You're just hot and horny, but
will
worse.
Poke your stuff.
For most people.
Yeah, pretty much. Like pretty much all your units are melee, so you're gonna have to run after you kill something, or you just die with them. So yeah, Zagara gets the F.
F for Zagara. How about you, Stixbender?
Makes sense, honestly. Zagara on infested maps is always just like, oh, it's an infested map, and I'm a Zagara. Well, I'm going to suffer immensely.
At least I got one of my F right. Alright, let's put Zagara in F. Zeratul, where do we put him?
Hero unit that is fast and cannon's good.
Okay, that's good.
A tier.
Oh, how about you, Tutu?
That's A, really? Zeratul's invisible, so he can clear a lot of mines easily. Cannons are good. Observers are super fast, and you're gonna probably get them anyways. Like, you're gonna probably get one of each tech building at some point. Maybe not the Dark Shrine, but you're gonna get a Robo, most likely. And then you mass cannons, and by the time you have like 5 artifacts or so, the cannons pretty much don't die, and then they can take quite a few self-destruction hits as well. And you probably have like 50 cannons by the end of the game, so he's fine. I put him in S.
You have an S. Wow. I have a B. Sticksman, are you willing to change Zeratul to S? Because Cannon's really good.
The cannon's really good. Look at the S tier options. Yeah, cannons ain't that good.
Monoliths?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah, I'm actually thinking like, yeah, Zeratul clearly doesn't match as well as Stetboy, but looking at Karax, like, Zeratul might have this similar early game issues as with the Karax.
I feel like keep in mind, Zeratul's cannons do not last for the entire ship duration.
That's true. So you're not willing to put Zeratul in S?
No, I don't think so, no.
Alright, if it's not unanimous, it's not S. Another A-heavy list. I wonder if we'll adjust A tier. Do you guys see all these guys in A tier as being on the same sort of A? Or do you think there should be a tier between A and B?
They're A for mostly the same reason, which is except Manx, they all have like a hero unit that can take a lot of hits while clearing mines.
Alright, so they're all on the same tier. Cool. So let's do the rankings.
I would kind of say that there's a big enough split between them that we could split them into 2 tiers, honestly, the A tier commanders.
Oh really? Who do we split off?
I would put the A tier being Alarak, Kerrigan, and Nova, and then the B tier being Manx, Tychus, and Zeratul.
Hold on, let me visualize it. So we're gonna put B tier being
Manx, Tychus, and Zeratul.
First Tychus and Zeratul. Zap, Kerrigan, Alarak. How does this look, Tutu? Do you think it makes sense, or like, is Zeratul close enough to Alarak that they might as well be in the same tier? Is Tychus close enough to Nova or Kerrigan?
I can see why Tychus and Manx are split from the other 3, but Zeratul should not be with those 2.
Do you think more like this?
Zeratul's better than that.
Zeratul's better than that.
Okay, I can see Zeratul moved up to A with that. Bottom of A, but still A. That makes sense to me.
Alright, this looks more distributed, I think. Not that we're trying to distribute on purpose. Just like I was wondering if there are too many guys in A. So anyway, ranking. Who's the best among the S? Stetboy.
Stetmann.
There we go.
I mean,
yeah, Stetboy. Come on, you're not going to argue with that. Who's better between Dehaka and Karax?
Dehaka. Because if you don't have enough cannons, or like you wasted all your energy, then you might get overrun. But a pack leader doesn't die. You just kind of stand there, shoot everything. Especially Dock Run, 8,000 HP. It's not gonna die.
And if the laser drill shoots at the Krun will shoot back at the laser drill. So yeah, are we good with this? Stetboy, Dehaka, and Karax, or do you have an appeal, Sticksbender?
Nah, I'm okay with this.
All right. So for A, who's the best among the A's?
A is already correctly ordered, I think.
Really? What do you think, Tutu?
Which one?
A is
already like
A
that?
already correctly ordered?
I think Nova's above Kerrigan, but Alarak will be at the top.
Okay. Nova's are you okay with Nova being above Kerrigan, Sticksbender?
I think Worm is too good for that to be the case.
What's the worm for?
Oh,
I mean,
you mean if everything else fails, you can just spam worms and cut a tank until the ship launches? Is that what you mean?
that, plus the fact that self-destruct becomes a lot less threatening when the infested are just like, no, we're gonna all converge on worms and then get blown up by AoE. And
Nova has free turrets though. The railgun turrets from the Ravens.
yeah, but
They can do
like,
the worms functions.
yes, but the worm is tankier while doing it. And bigger thing is like worms can help against mag mines literally as like if a mag mine is heading towards your army or your ally's army, you can catch it with a worm's face.
I think they're both like almost equally good. I wouldn't have any issue with one being over the other. I'm okay with Kerrigan over Nova. I'm also okay with Nova over Kerrigan. They're pretty same-ish to me.
I'm not mortally offended by Nova being higher
Oh,
than Kerrigan.
yeah.
Ooh, Tutu died. Rip.
Seems fine.
Okay.
Kerrigan and Nova are pretty much the same.
Yeah, alright. We'll leave it as is. For B, who's better between Arcturus and Tychus? Okay, it seems that Tutu's internet is starting to quit again. So we've actually decided that the rest of these guys look close enough to each other that it doesn't serve much purpose to argue about changing the way they're arranged. So Artanis, Fenix, Swann, and Vorazun are just about at that ordering. Maybe Swann could be higher a little bit because people argue for it to be like higher B or something like that. For D, I think we also kind of agree that this is fine. So yeah, that'll be the tier list, guys. Go watch Tutu and Stickbetter channel. I will link them down below. And hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for what else, please leave it in a comment. I'll see you guys next time.